I'm MK Bajwa, and today we are going to be talking about bring your own model. And as fancy it sounds, it's something that's very much now possible, and it's something that is bringing both Copilot Studio and Azure Foundry together with amazing ecosystem of thousands of models that are today present in Azure AI Foundry. And as part of today's session, there are a couple of things that we are going to be covering. Overall introduction of AI tools, what is prompt builder, and how you can bring your own model. And in the end, we will be doing a very quick demo. And I know demo is our favorite part, so I'll be skimming through most of the stuff, but we'll keep sufficient time for demo so that we get to spend and see each and every step in the screen so that you can reference that later on. Overall AI tools, I would say that we are in a growing ecosystem of agents and AI, where right now, as you would have seen this number by Satya at Build, we have 230K tenants that are currently building agents, and agents are growing at rapid scale. And as of May, there were like more than 1 million agents that were outside around the ecosystem. So the way people are adopting it and what we see on social media, I think it's just going really high at a lightning speed. And when we talk about agents and how these things come together, we love our Copilot. I think Copilot is my best friend. I think anything I have to do, which includes writing my emails to my boss, are all done on Copilot. But how are these Copilots working with agents? They are working with agents because these agents are created on Copilot Studio, and these are connected together, which gives us access to different ecosystems that are out there, where when you are working on your Copilot and you're working on your app, you can actually connect to an agent that was created on Copilot Studio and work on a specific task. Like, for example, there can be an agent which is very specific to HR related queries. There can be an agent which is very specific to leads and opportunities. So, when you are working in your Copilot, you can connect with an agent for a specific use case and work with it. And how these agents are made possible, they are very rich in terms of data, and what you are going to be asking them is because they are grounded with two different things. One is knowledge and other is action. Knowledge is what are you asking this agent to ground themselves on, which is like when I'm asking about HR or certain areas, these are some list of SharePoint data that I want you to reference to. And it can be something else as well, but you are grounding yourself with a very specific enterprise grade knowledge. And the best part of it is that whatever you're training, whatever you're giving it to your agent, it's absolutely contained within your enterprise itself, which is like you are giving access to an agent within your organization. You're training it with a data from your organization. You're giving it access to certain knowledge sources, and it will give you answer basis that, which means that instead of searching and looking through 20 different docs that we hate and searching for the right question that we want to ask, you are just connected to that knowledge source, and now you can ask your agent directly. Second part of it is actions, which is something that allows you to take an action. And that's something that we will be talking about a little more in detail, because I'll be talking about very specific action called prompt builder action. So, what is Prompt Builder? Prompt Builder is an experience which is part of your apps, workflows, and your agents. It's a very natural language way of defining how your prompt has to look like. And because we are right now in an AI world where building an agent and everything sounds very overwhelming at certain times, and prompt builder comes at a place where on your left side you just write your instruction in a natural language, in a very simple language as possible, and it builds an action based on it. And when you are connecting that with your agent, you're connecting that with your existing workflow, or you're connecting that to your app, it always talk to this prompt builder action in order to give you a response. Over here on your screen, what you can see is how this prompt builder action looks like, and we will see that as part of a demo as well. We are on the left side, as you can see, are the instruction panel where you will be defining how your prompt has to look like. And you can define what are the input sources it should look for. If it is text, document, it also goes to knowledge sources as well, which is Dataverse and many more as it expands. Below, you also have your drop with Copilot, which is that you will just define what problem you're trying to solve with a prompt in a natural language, and it will create a very detailed prompt for you. And I have used it personally multiple times, even for today morning's demo, right? So it really brings out a lot of things in detail. It can give a very good instruction as well. You can go ahead and tweak it later on, but Draft with Copilot is always a great place to get started on in case you have not used Prompt Builder before. And below are also certain templates. And as you can see, you see these three boxes below. Over here, there are more than, I think, so if I'm not wrong, more than 40 to 60 templates that are out there. You can just select. Most of these use cases are already covered. So you can select and build on one of those, select them, and try to get an output out of it. On right, you get your response. As soon as you're building your thing, you can also test it out. You can see how the response is going to look like. You can get response in a text and JSON format, depending upon what you chose. And on top, the favorite part of this today's discussion, the model selector is also there. We'll get through it when we go into the demo, but wanted to give you a very quick overview of what Prompt Builder is and what value it brings to an agent. The agent that is built on two strong pillars. One is action, other is knowledge. Prompt action comes in very handy to allow you to take an action, get an information in your desired format. I think the most important part of it is that in certain areas we are always very concerned about how this response is coming. I want this response to always come in a certain format, and it becomes very tricky to explain or have that response consistently coming in the same format. Where Prompt Builder comes in handy is that over here, when you're defining your prompt, you can actually define the format in which you would expect this output to always show up, and it will always show up in the same format. So it also allows you to have more predictable format of the response as well, which in this new AI world becomes a lot more important depending upon what you're trying to work on. And now, the most important part of today's session, which what do MK mean by when she say bring your own model in prompt action? So today in Azure AI Foundry, I think this screenshot gives you a glimpse of like what a huge ecosystem of models is out there. I think today when we open up LinkedIn or any of the blogs, we always hear about that there is another model underway. It's coming up very soon. And this is Azure AI Foundry, where all of these models are already present. So you have an access to ecosystem of 19K models that are out there in Azure AI Foundry. Believe me or not, like when we were at Build, Grok got announced a day before. Next day, we were using that in Prompt Builder itself. So as soon as the models are available in Azure AI Foundry, you can bring them to prompt action, which means all the goodness that you expect that is in one model versus other. You have certain preference based on kind of company you're working on, or there is a model that you have specifically trained on, fine-tuned on, made it a lot better. You can use your prompt action with that model rather than any other model so that you get the answer the way you expected. Because I also know that in certain areas there are certain models that are preferred based on the geographical location as well. Now you're not only limited to the GPT models, you have a huge ecosystem to actually choose from. And as I was saying, like today with Copilot Studio and Azure Foundry coming together with prompts and agents, you have multiple models to choose from, which ranges from Llama, DeepSeek, 5.4, Cloud, and a lot more. And you can connect to any one of them or to the model that you have fine-tuned specifically. We have 19K plus models, but what I would suggest that you choose a model that is of a chat completion type because that has a higher success when it comes to working with an agent. Choose a model based on like this is a model with which I'm getting an efficient response, or the kind of quality that you're looking for, or if there are certain preferences when it is coming to when it is coming to your company, if there are certain models that are preferred one versus other. So you have these things to choose from, which has been a blessing. And I have loved playing around with each of those models because all of them have their own strengths. Certain models are very good with reasoning. Some are very good with giving you answers when it comes to mathematical calculation. Certain are very good when it is about structuring the response in a good format. So you can go ahead and play around with multiple models that you have and choose the one that suits you the best. And when it comes to prompt builder, of course, we started with Copilot Studio, but it's not an experience that's just limited to Copilot Studio. It's a reusable component. So even if you're working with Power Automate Flow or Power Apps, you have these capabilities and also access to the huge ecosystem of models that are out there. So you can choose where you want to go ahead and check this out. But this is something that's available within Copilot Studio, within Power Apps, and also with Power Automate. And now to the favorite part, my favorite part, and I hope the demo works today. So I'm just kidding. So let's go ahead and see this in action. So thank you so much, and I love the hearts and the encouragement here. Cool. So let's go ahead and go over here. So right now I'm in preview. So you have an access to it already because we are in public preview as of today. This is my agent called Tech Support Assistant. We all struggle with these issues, which is like, oh, my Outlook is not working, or my Teams is not working. There's something going wrong, and you just don't know how to get started on. This is an agent that has been created so that when you're working on any of your tasks, you don't have to wait for it for a very long period. You have an access to it as quickly as possible. You just have to ask your agent and it gives you an answer. And in this one, you will notice I already have an action called AI Help Desk. So let's go ahead and see what is AI Help Desk. I came to the tools, I went to AI Help Desk, and I clicked on edit. In this one, as you can see, there are certain managed models that are already available, which includes 4.0, 4.1, O3, and others. These are the managed models where RAI, and these are ones that are hosted and managed by Microsoft. We make sure that they are to the latest version. We make sure that if the content coming out of it is responsible. Below you have Azure AI Foundry models. These are the ones like that you see Grok, Mistral, Five4, and others that I brought in. So as an organization, I would be responsible to managing this model. It can be hosted in Azure, or depending upon how you are structuring your model strategy is within your organization. These are the ones that are hosted by you, so you can just bring them in directly. I'll go ahead and use 5.4 and run this particular prompt. And as we talk through what this prompt has, it has over here I'm telling that there are certain issues that I've already listed in this knowledge source. There are cause and resolutions that have been added over here. I want you to always give me a response with what was the issue, what was the cause and resolution. And if you don't have an information, just give them also an information that if they are not getting the response that they're looking for, they can always go ahead and connect with help desk at Contoso to get this information. So this is how you can structure your prompt. Thank you so much, and it can look as detailed as you want. You can use draft with Copilot and it will give you information accordingly. But this gives you an idea of like how you would want to define this prompt when you are working with it. So now let's wait for this result to come in. As you can see over here, it told me that, this is the structure it's gonna do. It gave me an example. Like, as you saw that over here, I defined that this is what I want you to do, issue, cause, and resolution. Over here, it gave me an example that cannot log into the system, likely cause, what the resolution is going to look like, same for Outlook and others as well. So, okay, I love how 5.4 has been responding to it. It gave me a good example and I'm loving it. But because I have so many options, I'll try one, one other as well. So as you can see, it's so easy and super quick. So let's use Mistral, and let me, as the response comes in, let me also show you how you can connect your Mistral model, any of your models as well. Generally, when you want to connect with your any of your models, how this model came into my dropdown. Let me walk you through that process as we test it out. Once I click on plus icon, I see this particular form, which gives me option to add my deployment name, my base model, and URL. This is information generally you get very easily in your Azure AI Foundry. Like, for example, this is my 4.1. Over here, you can see the URL key, my name, deployment, and all of this information is already available for me because I have access to this model. And what I am supposed to do is generally copy paste all this information and click on connect, and your model will get connected to it. This is an option that you have if you want to test your model whether the connection has been successfully made. You can check mark it. If not, you can also unmark it. So you can give this you can add this information from Azure AI Foundry directly, and you can go forward from there. Very soon, what is coming up, how this entire page is going to be evolving, and some of you guys will start seeing it in your regions depending upon where you are, uh, is that we will start showing you all the models that you have access to directly, so that you don't have to type up all the information that's out there. You just have to make a selection to one of those models and add that in. You will still have an option to go ahead and connect with a very traditional way as well, because we don't want to take that option away from you. But now we are going to be making it very easy for you to connect with the models. So now let's go back and see what response came out back from Mistral. So as you can see, Mistral also responded very quick, very fast. I see it going with the right mindset with instruction, data references, and other. Mistral being its own, it also gave me a lot of information in a JSON format just to tell me what went behind the scene. And that's it. Like, it gave me how it's planning to respond to it and the JSON format. I like 5.4 response a little better, so I'm going to go ahead with 5.4 and save it. And as it gets saved, I'll show you one more prompt as well, because I would love to share how a prompt is very diversified, how it works with multiple inputs type. Okay, it has got saved. So let's go back and let's look at the other one. I have one more prompt, and this prompt is structured in a way. Many a times when I have any tech issue, I am mostly sending screenshots to people saying, "Oh, I'm facing this error," and which can be a case of many folks. So this is one that I've structured saying that, like, analyze my image, provide me insights, and give me answer that what is the image saying, what are the debugging insights, and if there are guidance in others. And you would say that, MK, you said, you can work with images and documents, but I don't know which are the models that are great with images and documents, because do you expect me to know every model and what it is capable of? No, it's good that you know about it, but it's not an expectation, because as soon as I add image or document as part of my input, by default, all the models that are supported, that support images, are the ones that are shown enabled, so that you make that choice very correctly and go forward with it. We will be disabling the options that won't work, make you successful if you save with it. So it makes it easier for you to select the ones from the ones that are available. So in this case, this is my second prompt out there. So now let's go back to the agent that we were just talking about. So now I told you about this issue. So today morning I was in Teams. So let's say issue with Teams. Can you help me? Right. So now we can see that it is looking at AI helpless, which was the prompt that I that we just created. We saved it file with 5.4. So definitely it's going to the right prompt to get a response. So let's wait and see the way the response is gonna come. And this is how this is activity map that you see on the left hand side. It generally tells that what was a chain of thought in giving the response. It gives you more confidence in terms of like, was it through the experience that I was expecting it to be? Okay, let's try again. I'm not the person to give up. Generally on Copilot Studio, if you don't get response in 30 seconds, it times out so that you have the best experience and you're getting information in real time. Okay, there's something that's happening today. So let's try some other, which is our image scenario. Okay, I said I have an image which I want you to debug. It said that, open and tell me, share with me the image. And let's see. I'll go ahead and send it the information. I've just used one of the Outlook screenshots and I've shared with it, which is very real life scenario that generally happens where we have screenshots and we wanted to process it. And as we see over here, it did an awesome job of first analyzing the image. It told that what was happening in the X icon. It's seeing the X icon, what's happening over there. This issue identified is that Outlook cannot be connected, and the recommendations are as follows. So, as you can see, right now there was model connected with BYOM, and you're getting the image answers also from the images as well, which makes it really, really perfect in terms of all the scenarios that you have. And now you don't have to wait for a couple of days for issue to get resolved. You just have this panel and you go forward from there. And just to showcase how other responses would have come up if we did not get the time out, was something very similar where you would have got likely cause, resolution, and all of those experiences. So now you have amazing, amazing models to connect with, and now you just have to choose which one you love the most. And now, as a bonus, was not initially planned for this demo, but I'm going to share because I love this community and I love the engagement over here. You can also set a model at an agent level. So it's not only at prompt level, but also at agent level. If you go to setting, you have this option to select any of these models, but very soon you will have an option to also select any of the Azure AI Foundry models as that get available. So this feature is definitely expanding very, very fast, and the at as we come towards our end, would love to share that we are gonna be generally available very, very soon, which makes us come to like it's just rolling out. So depending upon your region, by end of July or early August, all these amazing models will be available, generally available for you to go ahead, give it a spin and go forward from there. And I hope as you try it, you enjoy as much as I have enjoyed by trying out how different models respond to the same prompt.